Hello everyone, Ollie here from Leeds Talk Cinema, and I'm here with Rusty.
Hola.
And today we are here to watch Karate Kid Legends. So, the way we were going to do this, and we kind of still are, but I'll get to it. We were going to do our before thoughts as usual if you haven't seen our videos before. So, I was going to go first initially, but I'm going to do it anyway because Rusty unfortunately has just arrived slightly late. But to be fair, I'm glad in a way because I forgot to grab something for him because we've been trading films and stuff. So I won't get into it, but we're here now. I'm going to have to be quite quick because we haven't got that very long to go into the screening. So I'm going to explain my before thoughts. My overall thoughts on the franchise or the films, but I may as well just do a quick ranking of the ones so far and then explain them there because it makes sense. So this is actually my first introduction to the Karate Kid franchise. I obviously know what Karate Kid is, but I just hadn't beforehand, before coming into this, had an opportunity to watch them. So, but here I am now. So watched all 5 films. I should probably mention that I haven't watched Cobra Kai yet. I think it's 6 seasons.
Oh, Cobra,
yeah, Cobra Kai has 6 seasons, so I wouldn't have had enough time to finish the show, so I haven't started watching it because I didn't want to start watching it and then come into this and then so it made sense if I started watching it after this. So yeah, so the 5 films, I'm going to go from my least favourite to my favourite. So 5 films at the moment, obviously 6 will include the new one, but we'll do that later on. So my number 5, my least favourite of the franchise, is going to be very cool because we've not discussed this franchise whatsoever to each other on purpose because we wanted to do this. But anyway, so my number 5 is the Kung Fu Kid. I have no idea. I mean, I do know why they called it Karate Kid and not the Kung Fu Kid for advertisement and stuff, because people were like, oh, what's the Kung Fu Kid? That sounds like a rip-off of Karate Kid. And it's like, well, it's kind of a remake, but not really now, is it? So, yeah, the Kung Fu Kid, as I want to call it, just so it differentiates from the other one, because it's confusing. The Karate Kid, which one? So, the Kung Fu Kid. I don't hate this film. Like, the lowest isn't. I don't hate any of the films. It's just, I think because this is the last film I've watched, and when I watch a bunch of films before watching a film, like if I have a short amount of time to watch them, and if I have to watch them at a certain amount of time, sometimes either the last film or the last 2 films might feel a bit. So I probably should have spread this out a bit longer, but it is what it is. So yeah. Anyway, the Kung Fu Kid. Again, I didn't hate it. There's a lot of things that they carried on from the original film, which, I mean, that's, yeah. So it's a bit annoying. So I like Jackie Chan. I mean, he's not Mr. Miyagi for me, but he's good. So, and Jaden Smith, I thought he was right. I thought it was an okay film, but we'll get into it later on when we have more time. So Kung Fu Kid, number 5. My number 4, I was debating on number 4 and number 3, but my number 3, the Karate Kid Part 3. Yeah. So again, I can't say too much because we haven't got much time, but the first maybe 20 minutes I was like, okay, this is my favourite of the 3, and then by the end I was like, again, things I quite liked in Part 3. Some things I didn't like, but I didn't have time to talk about them, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah, it was my least favourite of the trilogy at that time when I had seen the first 3 by the end of watching the 3rd one. But not terrible, not bad, it's just compared to the other ones I didn't like. So number 4, Karate Kid Part 3. Sorry, I'm a bit jet lag. So yeah, number 4, the Karate Kid Part 3. Number 3, the next Karate Kid. So, funny enough, again, not enough time, but I watched this film twice. So I watched the first maybe half hour, first 40 minutes of the film, and I did not really like it. I didn't. But then I decided, because it was the evening and I was a bit tired, I was like, okay, I'll go to sleep, I'll try again in the morning. So I started it again in the morning rather than continuing what I'd left off. And I liked it a bit more. than I did the first time around, which I'm glad, because I wanted to give that film a chance, but we'll get into it a bit later on. So my number 3, The Next Karate Kid. Number 2, the one that started it all, the first film. I quite like it. It's great. I felt as though it was a bit, I mean, obviously it was my first introduction to the film series, and I felt, to me, again, maybe when I rewatch it I might feel different, but it felt a bit fast paced to begin with. I don't know why, but again, I'm going to revisit it and see if I still feel the same. But yeah, number 2, the original. Again, we'll talk about more of these later, but we don't have time. My number 1, The Karate Kid Part 2. I really liked the fact they went to Okinawa. I really like the change, the change of location. I'm glad that they focused on Miyagi, because he's my favourite of all the characters. So the fact that they focused on his backstory was really cool. I really like that. And I know some people were a little bit frustrated that Daniel LaRusso wasn't in the forefront of the film, unlike the first film. I didn't mind it too much. Like, I don't have enough time. I don't know how much time we got left. I don't want to.
Basically like 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up now. So yeah, that's my ranking. Obviously, we're going to get to. We'll try and talk about them more later on after the film because we have time. So yeah. So Rusty's already actually talked about his brief thoughts beforehand because we didn't know if we were going to have time or not, which I'm glad we did because he hadn't.
Right, so I'm recording this from a secret location because I got some things going on, so I gotta do these before. So I'm kind of in a rush. So, new Karate Kid. Way. I guess I can quickly rank the ones I like, or the ones I've seen. So, at the bottom, Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith. It's alright. Yeah. The next one, I'd say probably Karate Kid 3. I like it. Mike Barnes is great in that. I really do like Mike Barnes. But I just kind of really like the story of the next Karate Kid, which is the one right above that, you know, top 3. And then the next one will be Karate Kid 1. And then after that, the original Karate Kid 2. Just very good. I like the setting in Okinawa. Just very good. Anyway, you'll find out where I rank them after seeing the new one. So, woo. I'll say one thing about the rankings. It's the exact same.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The exact same. Kung Fu Kid, Karate Kid 3, The Next Karate Kid, Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2. The exact same.
What a damn coincidence. That's really weird. Like, we swear we haven't talked to each other since, but that's really weird. But again, we'll talk about more later. My quick before thoughts on the film. Have you already done on this film?
I didn't know.
Oh.
I did kind of.
Okay, we'll really quickly do it now. So my before thoughts on this. I saw the trailer before watching all the films. I don't know why. I think it was in the cinema, so I didn't really have a choice. But yeah, it looked cool. But I rewatched it after watching this. So I was like, okay, I feel a bit more pumped because I obviously got the context, everything, and some bits in the trailer. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I hope it's good. Yeah, I'm not going to say much else because I don't want to say anything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's good. And yeah, that's what I can really say. So Rusty, quickly.
So I've actually seen Cobra Kai. So seeing, you know, Daniel growing up now, that's not new to me. I've seen that in the show. But the show was brilliant. Like, seriously, it was very good. Connects the original 3 together. I'm still really mad they didn't do anything with the next Karate Kid with Julie Pierce. I'm really mad about that because, you know, as you heard from our rankings, she's alright, you know, we'll talk about it more. But so I'm very disappointed regarding that. But otherwise, it's a good series, absolutely. And so to have a film right after with everyone, you know, great. Hard to explain. Either way, looking forward to it. So yeah, hopefully it's good, you know, because it's been good all the way through. So hopefully this one is just as good. Roll the preview. Wah!
Wax on, wax off.
It's been a long time. I needed help.
Every time I have the chance to pass on a piece of his legacy, it's never the wrong choice.
Where did you come up with this?
Sensei Miyagi taught me that.
You're gonna drop, sweep the leg, and strike.
sweep the lake? Trust me.
Karate Kid Legends, exclusively in theaters May 30th. Rated PG-13.
Okay, so just come out of the film, and yeah, obviously as usual I'm going to go first. What are my overall thoughts on Karate Kid Legends? So I'd say I quite liked the first maybe half hour, maybe roughly 30-35 minutes of the film. Quite liked it, into it. And I really liked Lee, the main character, and I also really like, was it Mia, the girl? Yeah. It was funny because I kept leading. I once lent to Rusty saying, "Did she introduce herself?" So yeah, I like Lee, and I also like Mia as the friends, and then they become a couple near the end. I also like her dad as well, the pizza owner of the shop. And then obviously, of course, in the trailer we know the legends, I guess, of the film, Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Hahn, yeah. Yeah, obviously they came back as they're the legacy characters. That's what this film is. It's a legacy film that tries to pay homage and pay respect to the other films as well, the trilogy, and also the Kung Fu Kid as well. Fortunately nothing from the next Karate Kid, no Julie or anything, which is a shame. But yeah, those are my positives. Also the fight choreography is really good as well. I really like the fight choreography. Yeah, and also like some of the graphics as well they have on the screen as well, with like the tournament that Lee goes in, because that's pretty much almost every single Karate Kid film, they have a tournament involved in the film, and I really like the graphics they add on, and also kind of the animated stuff, especially in the beginning of the film. Mixed. I think that's all my positives. Oh, if they say mixed, then I'll come back. But my negatives, I will say, I felt like the film rushed a bit. I felt it felt very quick. I was like, this is going on a bit too quick. I feel like we got to the tournament very quick, and I feel like some characters weren't established very well. And those characters, I'm not going to go into too much spoilers, at least right now, but I felt Daniel LaRusso was just there. But then again, I haven't seen Cobra Kai, so I don't know if maybe the ending of Cobra Kai was trying to do something, because I haven't seen it. It's different for someone who hasn't seen Cobra Kai, the series, and apparently you don't have to watch Cobra Kai to see this. To me as a fan, or at least a newcomer anyway, the way they introduced, Mr. Hunt wasn't too bad because he was established at the beginning, and we know his role in the film being Lee's uncle, Lee's uncle, which makes sense. But Daniel, unfortunately, his presence felt, I don't want to say shoehorned in, but it just felt rushed. I feel like they should have brought him in either early, or even though it's not his film, it's Lee's film, they should have, I can't put my finger on it, but if I have something later on in my head, then I'll say it. But I just felt like he was put in, I can't put my finger on it, but anyway. Also, the one thing I asked you, I want to ask you about this after the film. How the hell does Mr. Hahn know Daniel LaRusso? Because that's the thing, is that, at least from my knowledge, is that I think that, well, until this film, the 2010 film was a reboot, being completely separate to the original trilogy films, and also obviously the next Karate Kid. It's like, how does Mr. Hahn know Daniel? Like, oh, I'll get my friend, he'll come, and I'm just like, okay. Be like, I'll bring your friend, and I'm like, it's Daniel, right? Or is this going to be something else? But yeah, obviously being Daniel, and like, oh, I knew Mr. Miyagi. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know you know him. But I don't know, it just, I do think the film had great elements. It had all the pieces, well, most pieces, but I feel like it came together, it just didn't have a smooth beginning, middle and end. I felt the beginning, establishing that Lee is Mr. Han's uncle, and then, you know, growing up in Beijing, China, and then having to move to New York City, the Big Apple, because obviously it's always a parent thing, being like, oh, I'm being transferred to this or whatever. And then, yeah, I just... Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. I'm trying to think of other bits, but great elements. However, some of it came together a bit poorly, in my opinion. Bit too quick. Bit is almost trying to get to the good stuff, and I'd rather they establish it well than just get to the tournament, which obviously is kind of that's the peak of the film. That's the ending. That's the bit like, oh, okay, they're going to get together and train. I felt the training as well felt quite quick as well. I feel like there should have been more established in the training, especially with Daniel and Mr. Han training Lee, because it just felt quick. Again, I don't know. I felt like I'd say the first half an hour of the film was okay, but the last part of let's put it in two halves, this film. I think the first half was better than the second half. The way they established stuff is what I'm trying to say. The way they structured it. So, started off great, ended off a bit of a wimp, in my opinion. Now, quickly moving, spoilers ahead, if you haven't seen the film yet, but not post-credit scene, but the very end of the film, before it ended, there's obviously the moment where Lee sends off, and the guys at the pizza place send a pizza to Daniel, and has like a little note and a picture in there as well, and the pizza box. It's cool. And then he goes in, and then Johnny Lawrence is there. And at first I was like, who's that? And then I was like, I recognise the face. So it's clearly an older Johnny Lawrence, who's obviously, I know, from Cobra Kai, which again I haven't seen it. So I was a bit like, and then they're acting like best buddies. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're arch nemesis in the first film. Why do you know that? And then I was thinking, well, they clearly kind of come over each other in Cobra Kai, and again I haven't seen Cobra Kai, so that must have what happened. Yeah, so that bit I was confused, but I feel like that there's a reason for that happening, because for me, as someone who hasn't seen Cobra Kai yet, that's not been established to me. But having not seen a certain thing, that's the reason why. So something that Rusty said is that for someone who's seen Cobra Kai will get that, whereas if someone who hasn't seen the series yet, they'll miss out and be like a bit like me, like, what? You've seen the first film and then get to this and you're like, they're best buddies now. So yeah, I think Cobra Kai is set, is it several years after?
It's set after all of them, and so it's basically between this new one and Kung Fu Kid. It's set between them. Right,
okay. Yeah, the continuity with all the films, they've already changed.
If you ignore Kung Fu Kid, then it's set just like a good decade or two after the last one with Danny in it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts. I can't really think of much more unless I kind of think of something else while Rusty talks about his. But what would I give this film? I'm kind of between two ratings. I'm not sure. I'm going to give this... I might have to check my other ratings and where everything's placed. I'm going to give this film, because I haven't given that. I'm going to give this... Oh God, I don't know. It's between two. I don't know. I'll say 7, but if I want to change my mind later in editing, then I'll say 6. But I'll say 7 for now, which is a pretty good, I think. Yeah, pretty good on my scale on Letterboxd. So yeah, 7 out of 10, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, if you're a Karate Kid fan, I'd say go watch it. I will say, I think if you have the time, I'd watch Cobra Kai before watching this, just so you have that extra benefit of that experience. But obviously I didn't have enough time to watch it, so if I had left more time, then I would have obviously used that time to watch Cobra Kai, but because I didn't really have a choice. So yeah, go watch it, give it a go. We'll do the rankings after Rusty's afterthoughts on this, and then we'll do our rankings together with the other films together. So yeah, I'm going to pass it on to Rusty.
So, out of the cinema, and first off, I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely, this is not a bad film by any means. But as Ollie stated, I think the first chunk of the film is brilliant. I think the pacing of it was great. The characters, like, building up, all of it, I think was really well done. And they get to the middle when Mr. Hahn comes back, and then he says, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a friend." And then Danny Boy comes out of nowhere. This leads me on to my main complaint straight away. Daniel just kind of feels there. He's just there, which is a little bit of a shame. But it's also, I feel like, because this franchise is really old. So what they could have done is made it like really nostalgia bait, so you come in, it's like, hey, look, it's Danny Boy, and they reference this character and that character, and then it's just filled with a bunch of references, so that maybe down the line it might not hold up as well. So I'm thankful they didn't do that, so it focuses more on Lee's story, which is good, instead of making it about like, here's Lee, but also look, Danny Boy, look, it's Danny. No, which I'm thankful for that, but that does kind of leave, because Mr. Hahn, he gets a lot of development in this, from the beginning, like if you've seen Kung Fu Kid, like you already know him as obviously an older person, but a fan coming in to say, hasn't seen Cobra Kai, by golly, seeing Daniel-san all grown up, that's new, that's fresh, but he is just kind of like, oh, hi, yeah, I'm here. Oh, yes, sorry about Mr. Miyagi, he died a long time ago. And then it's just like, I've got a family. Well, he didn't even say he's got a family, he's got a different life. It's like, oh, I can't drop everything and go to New York like I used to. And Mr. Han's like, oh, don't worry, you'll be there. There was this quote from, I think it was Cobra Kai, but Mr. Miyagi had said it. The best way to avoid a punch is not be there. Don't be there. And I don't know why, he even came. There wasn't really any convincing. I was hoping there'd be more development there. Just that, explaining what Daniel's life has been up to this point. For people that haven't seen Cobra Kai, at least give like a brief, not a long, synopsis, but just like, I've got a few kids now, because he does have some kids. He's got a wife, and just to set up that, his life is pretty good. And he's, he can't be as adventurous anymore because he's a dad. And they don't say any of that. And he just goes, oh, bugger it, I'll go to New York. And so he shows up at New York. And while it's great to see the two teachers, like headbutt each other. Yeah, so, sorry, this is just in case the wind. Mr. Hahn, you've known him from the start of the film, but Danny just feels like he's there, it's just like, hey, look, Danny's here, and like they do cool stuff, but even when they're fighting, they're not really on screen that much, especially for, Daniel. And so I feel like they should have done more with him. So I really do think this film should have benefited from an extra 20 minutes, just an extra 20 minutes to flesh out. That's it, flesh out.
And the story and everything.
Yeah,
well.
yes, which I'll be getting to as well. Just to flesh out, why he's doing that. And I know they obviously reference Mr. Miyagi as well. And obviously, to avoid nostalgia baiting, they don't mention him that much, which is fine. And, they talk about, how he misses him and blah, blah, blah. Which is good. I enjoyed that. But there wasn't enough of it, unfortunately. Where you think, you don't want too much of it. But there wasn't. This is the lack of it, and that's what made it a little bit frustrating. We'll move on from Danny. He had a whole trilogy to himself. So I keep calling him Danny, like Terry Hill. Come on, Danny boy. Yeah. Definitely watch Cobra Kai if you can. Great series. Another complaint: no Julie Pierce mentioned. Because she was a student of Mr. Miyagi, and yeah, she didn't go into a tournament or anything. I know we're moving slightly off track, but she's still part of Mr. Miyagi's life. And they mention even in Cobra Kai, that, oh, you know, he had other students. Why don't you show her then? She had a whole film. I know it wasn't super well received, but it still did good. And so I'm always hoping for that, just little, even if it's a little reference to her. But unfortunately, another day goes by where she's not there. And I get most people probably don't want to see her because it's that one film with, oh, no, look, Danny's gone, it's a girl now. But it's really not that bad. I know, right, we'll save these for the rankings anyway. On the actual film, yeah, so after the brilliant of the first chunk, middle chunk is a little fast. They literally have a counter on the side saying like 7 days, and then I see it goes 6 days, 5 days. I'm just like, we're still on the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. And then it goes down to like the last 3. I'm just like, okay, we get a nice break. You know, it's just Danny just giving him the headband, and then it goes back to the counter. It's a 3, 2. I was like, what? So, you know, like Ollie said, the training should have been a deeper part of this, like in the previous films. I mean, if you've seen the previous films, training is a big part of it. And I get, you know, this guy's more of an experienced, you know, fighter, but he doesn't quite know Miyagi, you know, the Miyagi way. So I would have loved to see, well, I mean, we do kind of see that, like the clashing of like, no, this way better, no, that way better, you know, we do get to see that, but not enough of it. And then it does go from the training straight to the tournament very fast, I think, because I think the build up for everything else was great, but once you get into like, all right, we're heading towards the tournament now, it goes a little bit too fast, and it does ruin it, unfortunately, the pace of it. Again, as I said, the beginning of this, I think the pacing was great with the character building. Yeah, and again, the best way I can explain it: first chunk, brilliant; middle chunk, little fast; final chunk, okay, you went a bit too fast there. I do like how spoilers. I do like how they ended it on a freeze frame, you know, like in the previous ones, except it doesn't really end there, so kind of ruins the touch a little. So it's just like, why'd you do that in the first place? You should have just, if you're going to do it, put it in as an actual post-credit. Anyway, the graphics they use on screen, very nice. I really liked those. I thought, oh, this is a nice new take on it. I don't know what to explain it, but it felt very good. You know, it felt very New Yorky, you know, like hip or whatever you want to call it. At the start of the film, you get a clip from Karate Kid 2 of Miyagi explaining the origins of Miyagi-Do. I thought that was really beautiful, and you could tell, like the art that went into it for explaining bits after was very well done. Genuinely, that's one thing you can't fault this film for. There was absolutely some love and care put into this. I absolutely think, you know, they didn't make this for money. Obviously, money's always going to be a factor, but you could tell there was absolutely love, at least from, well, because I know Ralph
Macchio.
Yeah, he worked a lot on this film, so I can definitely see.
Just wish he was in it more.
Yeah, I feel like he needed a bit more development. That's all. The music choices as well was very nice. Like, it's not the type of music I'd listen to, but it fit the scenarios and the stuff happening.
New generation as well.
Yeah, it worked. It was good. The fight scenes, I was incredibly impressed with. I was just like, what? Like, honestly, there's
alleyway one as well, great, swinging off.
Yeah, I think that was my favourite fight scene of the whole thing. It just worked. It was very well made. It was intense. It was brutal, but not in like a Mortal Kombat brutal way. It was in a brutal sense of like, you're in a street, you're in New York, you're fighting for yourself, but you know some karate. You know, kung fu. Sorry, at that point, kung fu. Yeah. So no, that genuinely brilliant. I think the fighting in this you cannot fault. It was well done. So yes, absolutely, fighting in this phenomenal. The acting, I think there's very few moments where I thought that's a bit naff. Very few. The rest, absolutely fine. You know, you get day-to-day life. Oh, Mia, I actually liked that. I thought she was pretty well done, because, you know, some characters, that's okay. The side characters, I actually really liked them. The dad, Mia, the guy with the glasses, the tutor, even he was like you know, they weren't like, oh, here we go again. No, they were interesting. They were fun. You know, whenever you saw them on the screen, you thought, oh, it's going to be a nice scene or something. You know, it was good. It was well put together, I'd say, apart from the final chunk, unfortunately. Yeah, so absolutely a decent film. Very good. It's very worth watching. I kept seeing Tekken. It's a fighting game in the background, at least in the beginning. It was on the billboard in New York. It was on the train in New York. It was for the new Tekken 8. I was just like, why is there pictures of Tekken? I was like, I know it's a fighting game, and this is a fighting film. What? I don't know, but there was a bunch of that. So now I want to talk about the post-credit scene as well. Yeah, we saw Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. Now, if you have never seen Cobra Kai, the only hint of how are they buddy is at the very end of the first film when Johnny gives the trophy to Daniel and says, "You're all right, you know, you're all right, LaRusso." That's it. But it doesn't really explain how they're like. Why would they? They never explain it in any other thing. So it's just kind of like, is that just a cool cameo or what? No, there's a whole 6-season saga on everything. It mainly focuses on Johnny, but it goes to other places, and it's brilliant if you love the original trilogy, and you just want to see more. It's very good, and if you've seen Cobra Kai, it's just a nice extra touch, because I was not expecting to see him at the end of the film. I thought, you know, so it was a nice little touch, because I was thinking of the film, I thought, oh, because they don't reference anything from those films, the previous films, you know, which could be to avoid nostalgia baiting or whatever, but it was nice to see Johnny at the end. It was nice to see. But the one thing I didn't see was any sequel bait, where you think, oh, that's going to need a sequel or anything. Yeah, it was rushed at some parts, but I don't think there was any bit where I was just like, oh, that might be, you know, that probably needs explanation in a sequel or something. But to be fair, I don't think the first Karate Kid had anything like that either. So I guess it just depends if the film does good, which I hope it does, because it is a very well made film. Everything gets resolved by the end. I think the only thing that could be like would be during the final battle when Lee's on top of Connor. I thought there's some sort of turmoil, you know, in his head. Part of me was expecting the classic Mr. Miyagi. I was expecting that, but again, there was, you know, Daniel didn't teach him to do anything like that, so I thought even if he did do that, it wouldn't be worth it anyway. But he does strike right next to his head. It's more of just to show that he could, you know. It's just like, and then they do that, you know. But I think if anything, it maybe, if the sequel's going to do anything, maybe a little bit about frustration or something. I don't know, because I felt like something with his brother that wasn't purely resolved really. But there's not much you can do. But as an overall film now, it's good. It's not a bad film whatsoever, just like the rest of the series. And so I'd like to give the film a solid 7. I think a solid 7 is great, because what it shows is brilliant, but the pacing issues and some of the lack thereof of Daniel, and just some things they do in like the middle, just it's just a bit too fast, unfortunately. But all the comedy in this, by the way, pretty funny as well. It is like unexpected comedy. It's good. It is good. So solid 7. Definitely go watch it. If you like fighting films, you'll like this. If you like Karate Kid, you'll like this. And if anyone from the team watching this, do some sort of Julie Pierce reference in the next one. If you do, like, seriously, she deserves. She wanted to be in Cobra Kai, and she never got it. So do something with a film at least. I won't say it, but I got some sort of idea on how it could work if Julie Pierce was ever going to show up. I won't say it because it's probably long enough now. But he's at school. Julie Pierce was at school. She learnt things. You could do something there, you know. You could do something. All right. Anyway, rankings. we'll now move on to those.
Okay, so adding Karate Kid Legends to our ranking for the previous 5 films. So again, obviously, kind of carrying back on from what we said at the beginning. So obviously, my last place, the Kung Fu Kid. Not amazing, not exactly terrible, but just kind of mediocre, really, to me. Okay, so we got to hurry up. So, Kung Fu Kid last, Karate Kid Part 3, 5th, because it's 6 now, so 6th, the Kung Fu Kid, 5th, the Karate Kid Part 3.
Yeah, alright, yeah, I agree.
And then...
What comes next?
The next Karate Kid, yeah, the 4th, yeah, 4th. Then I'd say Karate Kid Legends, 3rd.
Yeah.
Then I'd say the original 2nd, and then the second one 1st.
Yeah, I think I agree mostly. So, number 6, Kung Fu Kid. Number 5, Karate Kid 3. Number 4, Karate Kid. Number 3, you really can't do this, because I'll say, like, I've just put the Karate Kid number 4, but it's not that low. And then, like, the next Karate Kid, I think, the first one's better than it's hard. Joint 3rd, Karate Kid and the next Karate Kid. Number 2, Karate Kid Legends. Number 1, Karate Kid 2. They're difficult films to rank, because none of them are bad whatsoever. Some better than others. It's like trying to rank the Jurassic World films. It's difficult. Oh no, we're going to get the 7th one this year. Oh, bugger it. But absolutely, go watch this one. Make sure it does good at the box office. I do want to see whatever they'll cook up next, because the first one, the original, no sequel needed, but it got a sequel and it was even better. So can they do that for that? Can they do what this one did, but can they improve on it? Because I think you said the first one, the original, was a little bit too fast sometimes.
It felt quick, though.
Yeah.
That was my first film, so I wasn't sure if...
Yeah. So can they do that? Can they keep the slower pace throughout all of it, but not make it too slow where it's boring? It's hard to do filmmaking. So that's all I got. You get the thumbs up of absolute cinema. Go enjoy it. It's a fun film. You won't be disappointed. That's all I can say.
Okay, so yeah, that's all we have, guys. No idea what's going to be the next one we're going to be watching, whether it's both of us again, whether it's with NerdTube as well, or maybe Robert might come along again. We'll see. So it's coming June now. It's almost June. I'm not sure what's next.
How to Train Your Dragon could be next.
Yeah. But we'll keep you updated on our Instagram and also our community tab on YouTube. So obviously, if you haven't already, I mean, we don't pressurize you like most people. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more. Please give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you've seen the film, and let us know your thoughts. What are the good for you? What are the mixed? What are the bad? And do your overall rating. But yeah, you already heard what I said. I just think the first part was great, and then the second half of the film was just a bit...
I think the best thing you can do is split this film up into 3 chunks. Beginning, middle, and end. Beginning, fantastic. Middle, needed a little bit more development. Ending, great fights, for the tournament, but ends a little weak. There you go. So, otherwise, strong beginning, mid,
okay,
middle, a little weak ending, but it's still a great experience either way. So yeah, go enjoy it
if you do. Yeah, if you choose to. That's it from us. So you will see us in the next video. Again, I don't know what that's going to be, whether it's just going to be me, if it's going to be me and Rusty again, if it's going to be me and NerdTube, or all 3 of us again. We will see. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you whenever.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.